So what if everyone thinks you're crazy as you're going through change and as you're healing? I know how hard that can be, and it's a lonely place at times when you decide to do something different in your life, when you decide to think differently, to act differently, to no longer do the things that you've always done. And when you do that, the people in your environment are going to react and have all sorts of opinions about what you're doing and what you're not doing. And that's what this video is all about. My name is Stephanie, aka the Sticky Fairy, and I've been on a long journey of self-discovery and healing, and I'm here today to bring you some comfort and good vibes on your journey and whatever that you are going through right now. Many of you have been asking what to do when you are left to deal with negative people, co-workers who complain, family members who are not on board with your transformation, and any other people around you who just don't get what you're doing. So let me start off by saying, cut them some slack, because they can't know what you're doing. And it's not their job to understand what you're going through. I know it's hard, and I know that it would feel better to have their support. But if you would just decide that this thing that you've embarked on is your thing, your project, your experience, and if you decide that, things are likely going to be a little easier for you because your expectations aren't as high in terms of what you are going to get from other people and what kind of support you would maybe want to get. Just forget about that and start with yourself. Because fact of the matter is that you can give yourself the support and the love that you need. It's all inside. You can tap into infinite intelligence, all the universal energy that is flowing through you and that is you anyway. And when you start remembering and realizing just how much love and energy is available for you already, you really don't need those people anyway. So next, I'm going to share with you my 5 best tips that I would recommend sticking to so that you make your journey as easy and comfortable as possible. Number 1, stop sharing, explaining, or convincing other people about the validity or the reasons behind what you're doing. They're probably not gonna get you anyway. I would be the first one to raise my hand and admit to the fact that I tried to get everyone around me to understand what I was doing. And it didn't quite work because nobody was reading as many books or watching as many videos as I was doing because they didn't need to. And so they didn't really they didn't get me at all. And then once I started changing my thoughts and I built this new model, this new understanding in my mind, it was really exciting, and I wanted to tell the world and shout it from the rooftops, and nobody really cared. You know what that's like, don't you? And on that journey, I realized that I was putting myself in a little corner, and I was making things really hard for myself by trying to get other people to buy into what I had learned. And it's just not worth it. The people who are interested will ask questions and show genuine support and interest in what you're doing. The rest, don't count on them. And when you stop asking people and stop making people understand what you're doing, you just create a lot of mental space for you to evolve and for you to grow your interest and your knowledge and understanding. So I would choose that path any day now and just focus on what I'm learning and not try to explain it to anyone else. Number 2, spend time in nature. Now you're thinking, what does that have to do with negative people and annoying coworkers? But fact of the matter is that nature teaches you a lot. It's like this invisible friend who's always there, who listens, who guides you, who's there no matter what. It's unconditional love in its greatest form. It's kind of like a pet. Now, I don't have a pet. I used to have a turtle and it sort of went blind because I wasn't that great at taking care of it. But if you had a furry friend, that's similar. Nature is always there. It's always as excited to see you. And I would use that way more than you already do. I go for a walk every single day, no matter what. It doesn't matter come rain or snow or whatever weather. I always go outside and I always feel better after. Number 3, join online communities. There are so many awesome groups online that are free and that you can join and have lots of fun in and get great support. You could always start with the Dr. Joe Dispenza groups. There are lots, both local and global ones. And there are so many other people who are doing exactly what you're doing and who you could befriend and actually meet up with regularly if you wanted to online. When I was going through my journey, that was literally my lifeline. I hung out online so many hours a day and I met the most wonderful people who became great friends and great supporters. And it was really so much more fun to do it together rather than being all alone. And on that note, I actually have a big announcement. I've been thinking about starting a membership and building a community for a long time because the one thing that I missed as I was healing was a close-knit group where I would not only get the support and the friendships that I was longing for, but also more knowledge and a chance to deepen my understanding of the work that I was already doing and the new mental models that I was building. Because I was predominantly using meditation as my tool, but I was also reading all these books that I've already talked to you about. And I started to sort of put together my own frameworks and develop a deep understanding that took a lot of time for me to figure out. And now that I've done that, I wanted to bring that to you because I know how valuable it is. I'm launching a community called The Resource. And my intention is to grow this group over time. It is a paid membership, and I only allow a small group of people to enter each time I open the doors because I want the group to be really familiar, like a big family where you know people and where you feel comfortable. So half of the spots that I'm opening up are already reserved and gone, but if you are interested and want to join now, I'll leave my email in the description below. Email me straight away and there might be a spot for you. If not, I'll put you on the wait list and you have a chance to join next time I open the doors once this first cohort has been properly introduced to the community and once we've sort of gotten things going. I'm so excited about this community and I hope that you would want to join because I know that it's going to be a special place and I know that I have a lot that I can help you with and support you on your own journey. Tip number 4, remember the difference between lonely and being alone. Now this has been a theme of my life because I have spent a lot of time alone. I am sort of an outgoing introvert and I've always enjoyed being on my own. And for many years I was lonely and I struggled with that. But then I had this shift in mindset where I realized maybe I'm not lonely. Maybe I'm just alone. And I like being alone. In fact, most of the time I prefer to be alone. But I'm not lonely. I'm never lonely anymore. And when you really realize that there is a big difference between these words, things feel easier. Because our society has been built around this idea that if you are spending time on your own, you must be lonely. And of course, sometimes that's the case, and it very much depends on what you're going through. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you are lonely just because you are alone. And if we go back and think about all those people who have negative thoughts, who have all sorts of opinions about what you're doing or what you're not doing, then if that's what you have to deal with, then wouldn't you rather be alone than deal with all that stuff that they throw at you? So it just depends on how you frame certain things, which will make it feel better or worse. And don't you ever have this feeling when you come home from an event or a party or even from work? You close the door behind you, maybe you put the kettle on. I'm in England, so that's a thing here. And then you sit down with your coffee or your computer or whatever you do, and you're just so satisfied. You're relieved beyond words because you are alone, on your own, in your own house, without having to say anything, do anything, be polite, be nice, be anything at all. You just get to be. So next time you are feeling lonely, just weigh the pros and the cons in terms of you being with somebody who's negative and realize that this thing called being alone is pretty good most of the time, right? Number 5, and of course, this is my favorite. Watch your thoughts. You're like, oh no, Stephanie, not again. She goes on and on and on and on and on and on about those thoughts. But really, don't you have like a lot of thoughts and like a lot of opinions about what you're doing and what you're thinking and what you're experiencing? So, if you walk around all day thinking, I'm lonely, I'm lonely, I'm lonely, what should I do? I'm so lonely. What do you think the probable effect of that is going to be? More loneliness. Whereas, if you think, yeah, right now I do feel a little lonely. True, I can't deny that, but actually it's kind of a good thing. Because when I am alone, I don't have to deal with other people's problems and issues and opinions. And in fact, I also have the freedom to choose whatever I want to do when I am alone. So I could sit down and read a book, or I could call a friend who I really like, or I could go for a walk, or I could make a really nice meal, or I could bake some cookies, or I could do anything that I like. And when you reframe the situation you're in and you watch your thoughts and you watch the story you are telling yourself, then your experience of whatever is going on right in front of you will change immediately. I cannot and I will not stop talking about the importance of your thoughts, because that is literally where you get stuck. It's all it is, an error in thinking. And that thought error leads to a whole bunch of negative emotions that you then have to deal with in one way or another. So the easier way is just to change that thought into something that feels a little better, and then watch how much better you feel instantaneously, not tomorrow or in a week, but this quickly. Sure, you might not get away with thinking 1 or 2 better thoughts, but if you stay at it for a little while and talk yourself into a better situation where you just slightly reframe exactly what you are looking at right now, everything changes. And that, my friend, is exactly how you deal with negative people and their opinions and that whole notion around being lonely. It is just a thought. And when you change those thoughts, you change your life, your reality, your future, your emotions, everything that is going on around you. And it is so powerful and it is so fun. And I can make it even more fun for you if you join my community. So again, I hope to see you there. You'll find my email address below, and I'll see you again in another video. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'm sending you all my love.